Formula One is a high-pressure, high-stakes sport. You have to be able to perform well right from the outset if you want any chance of staying in F1. Reputation is key in Formula One, and how well you perform can affect it drastically. In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 drivers on the grid that will have their reputation or even their career on the line and will have to prove themselves in 2019. Number 5. Daniel Kvyat. Daniel Kvyat showed promise as a rookie and was moved up from Toro Rosso to a better team, Red Bull. However, he was involved in many incidents and often showed his youth and immaturity. After crashing into Sebastian Vettel at the 2016 Russian Grand Prix, he was demoted back down to Toro Rosso. Kvyat was then released by Toro Rosso near the end of the 2017 season. It seemed his time at Formula One was at an end. However, the Russian driver spent this season being a development driver for Ferrari and has been able to develop in a low-pressure environment, leading Toro Rosso to sign him for 2019. He got extremely lucky and will be eager to prove he's a more consistent and mature driver than he was before. Number 4. Pierre Gasly. After the surprise departure of Daniel Ricciardo to Renault next year, Red Bull needed a replacement. The obvious choice was Toro Rosso driver Pierre Gasly. While it is the move of a lifetime for the 22-year-old, it is a risky one. If he underperforms at Red Bull, he could likely end up like Daniel Kvyat did and get demoted to a smaller team or even exit F1 completely. This is especially because his teammate Max Verstappen is one of the best drivers on the grid and is really hard to beat. While it's not expected of Gasly to match Verstappen straight away, Red Bull do expect big things of him. This year could make or break his career, depending on how he performs. Let's hope Gasly can rise to the occasion and prove himself in 2019. Number 3. Nico Hülkenberg. When Nico Hülkenberg came into F1, everyone thought he would be the next big thing. 8 years later, the 29-year-old is yet to have a podium finish. It's not like Hülkenberg hasn't performed well though. He just hasn't had a competitive car, and has been stuck with midfield teams his whole career. Many people say he is at the level of all the top drivers, but he never has had the chance to prove it. But next season, that will change. Daniel Ricciardo, who is regarded as one of the best drivers in Formula One, is moving to Renault next year and will be Hülkenberg's teammate. I'm really excited to see how he matches up with Ricciardo and see who comes out on top. They probably won't be fighting for wins and championships, but it will be a really interesting inter-team battle. Depending on how Hülkenberg does next season, a top team may sign him and you will finally get that elusive podium and maybe win some races. His reputation of being a top driver is on the line, and we'll find out if he's actually deserving of a drive at a top team or if he's just overrated. Number 2. Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll is one of the more disliked drivers on the grid because of how he got into F1. Stroll is a pay driver, which means he basically bought a seat at an F1 team and is actually paying to be a driver for the team rather than being paid by the team. His 2-year stint at Williams hasn't produced many highlights, although there have been some. This is mostly due to Williams having a woefully uncompetitive car. They've consistently been the slowest team on the grid and are rarely in the points. Stroll may have a bad car, but this didn't stop world champion driver Jacques Villeneuve from calling him one of the worst rookies ever. It's not a great thing to be called one of the worst rookies ever by your fellow countrymen. Plus, aren't Canadians supposed to be nice anyways? Force India F1 team was in deep financial trouble. Lance Stroll's father, Lawrence Stroll, bought the team to save it from collapse. This meant that Lance Stroll would have a seat at Force India for 2019. However, this meant that Esteban Ocon would be out of F1 next year. Ocon was a talented prospect, and people don't like the fact he was ousted in favor of a driver that's only in F1 because of his financial backing. Force India is a solid midfield team, which means he no longer has the excuse of having a bad car. 2019 is Stroll's chance to silence the doubters and erase his reputation as an average pay driver. If he underperforms though, well, maybe his dad can try to buy Ferrari or Mercedes instead. Tied for number 2 is Charles Leclerc. Every sport always has that wonder kid that breaks out in their rookie season and everyone calls them the next big thing. Undoubtedly this year, that wonder kid was Charles Leclerc. He He has had a fantastic first season in F1 with Sauber, and has showed his talents on many occasions. Leclerc was awarded with a seat at Ferrari next year, something that every driver dreams of. Obviously, this big opportunity also comes with a lot of pressure. Leclerc will only get one chance at Ferrari to prove himself, and it certainly won't be easy. Being in a top team with only one season of experience comes with a very steep learning curve. A much more experienced Sebastian Vettel is already well established at Ferrari and will undoubtedly be the priority amongst the two drivers. I really hope that Leclerc will handle the pressure and will perform well in 2019, because he's a very talented driver and will hopefully be fighting for titles for the next decade and beyond. And finally, the one you've all been waiting for. Number 1, numero uno, the driver that has everything to prove in 2019 is... Well, I'm gonna save that for another video. You'll just have to wait to find out who tops my list. I'll hopefully have the video out a week from now, but if you're watching about a week after this video is uploaded, you're in luck. I suggest you check it out right now. That's gonna do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, Kids Love F1. I would really appreciate it. Let me know in the comment section below what driver you think will be in part 2 of this video. As always, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Bye!